examination and on getting the history, which is very important. You get the history to the child. But now with some therapy, he is doing some activities by around 12 months or 14 months of the age. So that is a very telltale sign of it is a non-progressive disorder. So the child is not losing his skills. That's why whenever you see a child around 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, ये बच्चा आपका पहले से improve कर रहा है, पहले से खराब हो रहा है या पहले जैसा ही है. Most of the times they will tell you कि सब कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, ऐसा ही है. So that is very important thing because that tells you that this is not a neurodegeneration condition because that will have a different etiology, that will require a different evaluation. So in the speech part, in the language part, but let us see. Don't be in a hurry to label them as a cerebral palsy. Because as I told you in the beginning only, once you label them as a cerebral palsy, they are left. They are left, and I am telling you very frankly, basically, because I am a neurologist, I see patients and I have got ample of time because I see little patients of neurology. Once they go into the BG clinical practice, they are always told in one line, इस बच्चे का कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. Because when doctors are busy seeing the loose motion and diarrhea, they don't have time for seeing this kind of patient basically. So don't label them as in the first go, this is a cerebral palsy. If you got some doubt basically, let them know. We will do serial examination. We'll see how he remains. If you find that with the therapy, with your inputs, rehabilitation, he starts some gaining skills. He starts doing some more movement basically. You know this is not a neurodegenerative condition. So don't be in a hurry to label them as pyramidal features. Pyramidal features means like spasticity, you all know, increased tone basically. Extrapyramidal means they will have rigidity, dystonia or dyskinesia. Because of the involvement of the cortex, they can have a spasticity. If the basal ganglia, alveolar region is involved during all those things also. Because see, the brain doesn't work independently. Brain works like a family basically. Because so many times the parents will come and they come to us also basically and they will ask you कि हमारे एमआरआई में कहाँ नुक्स दिख रहा है, आप बता दें कहाँ पे है. सिर्फ ये छोटा सा सिर्फ यही नुक्स है क्या? आप बोलेंगे कि हाँ ऐसा नुक्स दिख रहा है. लेकिन इससे तो इसका ऐसा कंडीशन हो गया, ऐसा होता है. इसलिए कि ब्रेन वर्क्स लाइक ए फैमिली. मतलब है कि जिन बच्चों को सेरेब्रल पाल्सी होती है उनको कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी सी स्पीच की, कहीं लैंग्वेज की, उनकी लर्निंग की, विजन की, ऑडिटरी की, सब में कुछ ना कुछ उसमें डेफिशिएंसीज होने के चांसेज होते हैं. क्योंकि जहाँ पे लर्निंग का पार्ट है, जहाँ पे लोकोमोशन का पार्ट है, वहाँ पे जो कनेक्टेड एरियाज हैं वहाँ पे विजन से भी कनेक्टेड है, वहाँ पे हेयरिंग से भी कनेक्टेड है. इसीलिए ऐसे बच्चे जब थेरेपी के लिए आते हैं, when they come for the therapy, they do not require only physiotherapy. Speech also, language also, learning also, making some vision and hearing. So that is why when they come to you and sometimes when I don't know what kind of courses you have, but when you graduate and you take your own courses like physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and so on and so forth basically, make sure that these children require a kind of like under one group therapy where they can get all such kinds of expertise, the physio, occupational therapy. The etiology of cerebral palsy can be either antenatal, before birth, natal, during birth like hypoxic ischemic injury, or postnatal like any trauma, meningitis, or those kinds of things. The causes are important because the perinatal causes like hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy at birth may not be anomaly, or the child has got brain dysgenesis or some genetic or metabolic problem that can recur in the family. So that is why it is very essential to know the child had any event at birth, after birth, or it was before birth. Whenever there was nothing significant at birth, child had normal cries, on day one he was with mother only, he went home and then he is having symptoms of cerebral palsy. You suspect this could be because of the prenatal insult. So these children require extra attention, these children require extra evaluation. Don't leave them like a simple case of cerebral palsy. If you don't find a very good history of perinatal or postnatal damage to the brain. The prevalence of CP has not gone down in past 2, 3, almost around 4 decades. Still it is around 1.5 to 2.5 thousand live births. Almost 1 in 400 live birth will be a child with cerebral palsy basically. To ponder over here is the disability. 1 in 100 children will be disabled, while 1 in 400 will be because of cerebral palsy. So this is a very important take-home message for your whole lifetime. I am telling you. You see more children with disability in your lifetime, but all will not because of the cerebral palsy. Because disability is much more common as compared to the CP basically. That also tells you this could be because of some other reason, not because of the cerebral palsy. Bihar has got the highest number of under 6 children having disability. I know this is a good news or bad news because we are dealing with such kind of children. A little bit about the cerebral palsy. See, depending upon which part of the brain is involved, as we discussed in the beginning, you can have different signs of cerebral palsy. If it is predominantly cortex involved, you will have spastic kind of cerebral palsy. If you have got involvement of basal ganglia, which normally if you are asking, you get some pain, you do it like this because you can't prevent the extra movement. You can't prevent the back like this, just do it a little like this basically. But if a child with dystonia, so he will twist his arms, fling his arms, and then he will lift up the back like this basically. Because the basal ganglia, which inhibits the extra movement, like a school teacher, is not working. He has got all those kinds of abnormal movement before he can reach to the back, and it is that's a depending upon the legal if you have got lesions in around the cerebellum, those cerebellum contacting coming to the basic topic, CP is not always what it thinks. So that's why we have to be reinforcing ourselves that it's not a disease. We still have to look beyond and ask what is the cause of this kind of symptom of delay in the motor skills. A child is not learning rehabilitation. They will require the help of physio, the OT, the speech, language. Because if you look them minutely, they will be having some issues in other aspects also. You read the textbook, they will say the children with the spastic hemiplegia, they have got a very good learning. It's only the hemiplegia they have got. But that's not true in the practical life. Once they start going into the higher classes, 6, 7, 8, 9 classes, their language, their learning also starts manifesting. They are not as good as their normal peers. They can never be. But as I told in the beginning, the brain doesn't work like an alphabet. It works like a family. The area of motor cortex, which has evolved during the birth, can also have some connections with the learning, with the language, with the vision. So they will have some knowledge in their language learning also, and they will require a complete evaluation and care. Prognostication is important. Once we know the cause, we can prognosticate them and we can prevent the further recurrences. So that is the most important thing. This young child, they came to me somewhere from Chhapra only, they were from Bihar only, and I think almost a year and a half back, they were around. So the 2.5-year-old child, walking with support, slow to respond, hypotonic, the skin was rough, reflexes were depressed. See, always down someone who is having this child, he came, I think recently to me only. Look at the child basically. Child came as a global developmental delay. Look at the child. Can you find some abnormality in him anyway? I don't have. That's a good thing basically. So what he means to say, this is a big head size. Hydrocephalus is bent. When you see the ventricles are enlarged because of the CSF pressure. So that for that you need to have the CT and the MRI basically. But I appreciate your, the vision. He has got a large head size. So whenever you see a child with global developmental delay with large head size, the second learning is this: you doubt cerebral palsy in them. They can be some genetic metabolic condition. Cerebral palsy should not per se have the large head. They normally have the microcephaly basically. So this child has got a large head. He has got a small. He's quite alert basically. Look at him. He He's looking at the camera. He's got short, stubby fingers in that regard. So he has got some dysmorphism. I evaluated him, and he was suffering from basically achondroplasia. Where you have got dwarfism, large head, and he has got a short hand, short femur, and they got good intellect basically. See, this is 2.5-year-old child basically. If you diagnose him as a cerebral palsy, living like this basically, the mother is going to have 3 more kids with similar kind of condition, because this is a genetic condition. So here lies the importance of all of us, whosoever is in touch with the pediatric care, either as a medical professional or like a healthcare team basically, that these parents should not have a single kid in their family, because that I personally feel is a crime. If this children has come to you and if you have failed to diagnose them, and if the parents are born, parents have the eyes. Can you see the eyes? She has got the moving eyes are moving. It's quite alert. And see the eyes. Always doubt cerebral palsy in children who have got nystagmus disease. Sometimes you can have, because of the hospital damage, because of hypoglycemia, but nystagmus is not very common in cerebral palsy. This child was suffering from basically what we call as a Joubert syndrome. This is also genetic condition, right? When you get the hypoplasia of cerebellum and the brainstem. So brainstem becomes quite smaller, cerebellum becomes quite small, and that is where they have got hypotonia, developmental delay, and they have got basically nystagmus also. And even if you look at the child, see it's she's quadriplegic. So then move her arms and legs well. But if you look at the child, see it's quite alert and responsive. That is atypical of a cerebral palsy child who is quadriplegic. A child with cerebral palsy, if he or she is quadriplegic, he won't have such a bright eyes or such an alert or interactive eye basically. So with practice, you can make sure that this child with quadriparesis is not a cerebral palsy child, because they have got the damage of the brain. The interaction is also on the lower side. Started to stand. He had recent febrile illness. It deteriorated with the fever. He improved. Repeat febrile illness. Now he has become much more lethargic. So the child at 15 months was not walking. He was delayed. But he had a history where he had fever. He became bedridden. Fever subsided. He became well. Then again fever came and he became lethargic, because the child had similar problems. That's why they came to me from the Nepal. This is because we are the Chamdal Center. This child was from Rajasthan, and he came to me at around 8-9 months of the age because of his global developmental delay. Look at his hair. He doesn't have any hair on his scalp. His total alopecia. And look at the way he is crying. It's quite irritable and crying. We got his scan done. I don't know the point, but I can tell you there are some hyperintensities in the cerebellum, in the brainstem, and even in the spinal cord. Children has biotin deficiency, which is a kind of vitamin deficiency. We evaluated him from that part of that vitamin deficiency, and it turned out to be positive. And this is also a genetic condition where you do not make vitamins in the body, that is the biotin vitamin. I put him on the biotin. And now look at after 3 or 4 months, the same child. He is growing hair also, and he is sitting up also. This biotin he will have to take lifelong. So this has totally reversed his condition. He has become now, he is in my follow-up past almost now 2 years, he has become almost totally normal basically. But if you don't diagnose them early, they will lose their vision also, they will lose their hearing also. And this is not the only case. I have got 5 or 6 more cases of similar kind of history. So that there comes the role of identifying them early. Look at this child. Look at the way he is. And you see, his walk is not proper. A child of around 7-8 years, there is some lurching in the walk basically. was going for therapy. In fact, he came for some. He got a dermal sinus. He had a small hole just at his buttock region. Look at the figure basically. So this has got a small hole at the buttock region. This is basically a spinal deformity, which we call as a spinal bifida, those kind of disorders. So if you don't look at the very lower margin of the spine, you will be always missing this case. And this child was also missed for almost around 9 years of the age. And he was doing all the kinds of treatment. And he had come from this case, now conducts a study. But what he needed was the MRI of the spine. He got the MRI spine done and he got operated also for that. So that is why all the children who have got some difficulty in walking are not cerebral palsy. We need to look beyond also, because this is something which is correctable. And if you don't correct them, with time this will progress. The nerves will get more damaged and this will cause bowel and bladder abnormality also. So here comes the role of doing a very good thorough clinical examination to look for if this is not cerebral palsy. And this is another case. He has got a simple tough hair at the back of the body. And whenever you find some kind of hair at the back of the body, spinal region, you suspect there can be spinal bifida underlying. Look at this child. I think the audio is not playing for you, but what the mother is saying, this child was well till 8 months of the age, then she had febrile illness, and then after that she lost all her milestones. So as I have been telling you time and again, whenever there is neuroregression, you doubt cerebral palsy in this case. So he was well till 8 months of the age, had some acute gastroenteritis, and then lost the milestones basically. And he was dystonia basically. It is not cerebral palsy. We got the scan done, and if you look at the scan is very typical, although I can't even discuss about the scan. It has got a small big cavity in the brain, and this was a metabolic condition which is called as a